President Ukur Yattani today signed into law the Division of Revenue Bill, which paves way for the CS Treasury, Mr. Ukur Yattani, to present the highlights of the next financial year's budget to the National Assembly tomorrow. Division of Revenue Bill, when assented to by the President, it becomes an act, and the act is known as the Division of Revenue Act, commonly known as DORA. DORA is significant because it stipulates how the national government and the county governments are to share the revenues in the proposed budget estimates. It's good to note that the budget that will be presented tomorrow by the CS Treasury will be a transitional budget and also an electioneering budget. The budget estimates to be presented tomorrow by the CS is estimated to be at 3.31 trillion Kenyan shillings. It's a very crucial budget estimate to President Ukur Yattani because this is his last budget estimates, and so in reality he needs more funds to complete his legacy projects, continue paying the debts, and also to manage the high cost of living. The budget presentation comes at a time when the national government still owes counties in excess of 148 billion Kenyan shillings, and this one has put counties in an awkward position such that they cannot meet their obligations like paying employee salaries and also clearing the pending bills. Tomorrow's budget will also be crucial for members of parliament who are seeking re-election. In case the budget estimates will propose the increase of taxes, there's a high chance they'll not agree with it, and they will shut the budget down when an opportune moment arises. So the Treasury has to be very cautious in the budget estimates it's going to present. It has to make sure that the high cost of living is reduced, and also the debt is also maintained, and high taxes should not be included in the budget estimate. Again, in the budget estimates to be presented tomorrow, Kenyans expect that the Treasury to deliver on cutting on cost of fuel and cutting on cost of food prices, while on the other hand increase the expenditure on development and also lower the appetite for debt we have as a country. So Mr. Ukur Yatani has to strike a very delicate balance between raising the extra 300 billion to finance the budget estimates and also to cushion Kenyans against the high cost of living. You can only achieve this by either increasing taxes or reducing the expenditure of the government in the next year's budget. As you are aware, this is going to be a very painful and expensive budget to the taxpayers. So it requires that tough but necessary financial decisions have to be made by the Treasury so as to finance the budget to its completion. For example, in the proposed estimates which will be presented tomorrow by the CS, the KRA projects to collect 2.1 trillion Kenyan shillings against the current revenue projections of 1.8 trillion. That gives you additional funds to be collected to be 341 billion Kenyan shillings. The guys are going to bear the cost of these expensive budget are majorly taxpayers. A large chunk of the increase in additional funds needed will be withdrawn from value-added tax, the income tax, the excise tax, and also the Treasury wishes to widen the tax base so as to cover even the informal early tax sector, like the Juakali workers and the SMEs, small medium enterprises. I have a brief summary on how the county wishes to raise additional funds to finance the next year's budget. I'm going to take you through them by just reading quickly. We are going to start with the value added tax, the VAT. In this current financial year's budget, the value added tax, the Treasury projected it to be at 477.1 billion Kenyan shilling, and in the next financial year's budget, they will increase the projection to 548 billion Kenyan shillings. Another revenue stream which is going to bear the cost of financing the budget is going to be the income from profits generated by the companies, and also income tax from employee salaries. We find that in this financial year's budget, the income tax KRA wishes to collect stands at 817.9 billion Kenyan shillings, and the amount has increased in the next allocation to 997.3 billion Kenyan shillings. That gives us a 21.9% increment. Another tax which is going to bear the cost of the budget is the excise duty, also known as the sin tax. Excise duty is basically tax charged on luxury goods such as alcohol, cigarettes, etc. It is projected to raise an amount totaling to 297.2 billion Kenyan shillings. So that's just a brief summary on how the county wishes to generate the additional funds to finance the budget estimates. So it's all waiting and see for tomorrow how the presentation is going to take place. Whether there will be some hidden tax, whether there will be austerity measures by the Treasury so as to reduce the country's expenditure. So until tomorrow, let's just wait for the CS Treasury. Everybody is eagerly waiting for the moment to come, but I've just highlighted the possible scenarios which will take place. And the budget, as I've said, stands at 3.31 trillion Kenyan shilling. So it was just a brief summary, and all the details will be presented tomorrow by the CS Treasury. After the presentation by the CS Treasury, we'll again come back and look at how the presentation went on, if the expectations of Kenyans or taxpayers were met, how the CS Treasury is going to address the matter of the country's debt, which currently stands at 8.8 trillion. Remember that the IMF International Monetary Fund has also cautioned the government to make sure that it has a lean budget so that it doesn't increase its debt. So it's going to be a tough day tomorrow, tough but long day. We are hopeful as citizens. We are hoping for the best, that the budget is going to ensure that the cost of living is reduced tremendously. There will be cut on prices of fuel and food, and also the government should also reduce its appetite for acquiring the debt, which is very costly for taxpayers to repay them. So until tomorrow, see you. If you are here for the first time, kindly hit the subscription button and leave the notification bell so that you never post a video again, then YouTube will automatically notify you.